Hey guys, it's Chloe. Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. Today we're here for episode 2 of the rebuild series we're doing on the Salvaged TRD Pro Tacoma. If you guys watched episode 1, you'll notice that the truck is a little bit more built up since then. We got some subassembly work done and some body panels done, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be installing the TRD Air Intake. And lastly, we're going to talk about the one thing that everyone seems to be asking about. We're going to give a price breakdown of how much we've spent so far from getting the truck to all the work we've put into the truck. Also, as you can see, we have another Tacoma here. This is my 2019, and although it's a little bit different than this 2020, I'm going to off camera look at some of the wiring and compare it with the 2020 just to familiarize myself with it so that we know what most of the wires correspond to, and it'll just make our life a lot easier when we're working on wiring up the truck later. So first off, I want to give you guys a price breakdown on everything we've spent on the truck so far. In episode 1, I mentioned that the price of the truck itself and shipping the truck altogether cost $22,000. You can watch that episode if you want to see a further price breakdown of that. And then straightening out the frame was $600. That's already completely done. And the subassembly work that was recently done was $2,000 in total. Also, as you can see, we have some body panels on the truck right now. These were both purchased on OfferUp, so they were takeoffs from other used Tacomas. The hood was $150. But as you can see, it's not a TRD Pro hood. It's either an off-road, an SR, or an SR5, or no, Limited has the hood scoop, right?
I don't think it does.
The hood was $150, and the reason that it was so cheap was because, as you can see, there is no hood scoop on this like the other TRD Pros, and the demand for having a hood scoop on the Tacomas is a lot higher than the demand for not having a hood scoop. And then the passenger side fender was $80, also from OfferUp. So right now in total we spent just about under 25 grand. Although the next big purchase is definitely going to be the airbags and also fixing up the passenger front door. So now I'm going to talk about the subassembly work that was done on the truck. It was done by Total Auto Body in Hemet, California, and like I mentioned before, it was $2,000. And you could tell it was redone and not done by the factory because if you look on this side, we have the factory weight, or better yet, if we look on my own truck, you can see that the subassembly is color matched to the color of my truck, whereas on the TRD Pro, we just have it matte black, which is fine because no one's really going to see this in the end. Getting the frame done and the subassembly done were probably the two biggest things that needed to be done on the exterior of the truck, and the next big thing we need to tackle are the airbags, but that'll be done in a later episode. So the next thing we're going to do is unbox this TRD Performance Air Intake and then install it on the TRD Pro. So let's get to unboxing it. So inside the box we have the intake tube, the flow accelerator, the throttle body coupler kit, the airbox bellows kit, the actual upper airbox itself. And then it also comes with the air filter. Alright, so here we are in the engine bay of the truck, and I've never replaced, taken off, or put on an air tank before, so we're just gonna give this a go. So first we're gonna take off the old and broken intake. So I'm gonna first start with this hose clamp and the 10mm socket wrench. Next we're gonna pull this out. And then remove the mass airflow sensor. So as you saw before, the sensor plugs into this unit that measures it. So we're also going to have to take this off. And that's what this piece looks like. Next we're going to take off this hose clamp. Now I can pop off the old intake. That's all there was, holding it in. Okay, so upon opening up and starting to look where everything fits together in this TRD kit, I realized that the kit only comes with this upper air box and we're missing the lower box because the kit wants you to use the lower portion of the OEM box. So that's not gonna get finished today. We're gonna have to put that part of it into the budget. We're gonna just install what we can of the kit, and then when we have to put on this upper air box, we're just going to have to do that later, I guess. All right, so we're gonna work on what we can now. The first thing we're gonna do is connect this throttle body coupler to the intake tube. So what you wanna do is make sure you align these two tabs when you put the throttle bottle coupler on. And then you wanna also make sure you align these two pieces, which they should be if you already aligned the tab with this. All right, now we're gonna tighten down the hose clamps. Next, we're gonna put this tube back in place, clamp it back down. The next thing we're gonna do is connect this piece to the intake tube. There's also this little tab that's gonna fit exactly on the intake tube too. Now we're gonna just clamp it down with a hose clamp. I think the last thing we're gonna be able to do, because we don't have the lower box, is install the mass airflow sensor onto the air intake box. So that's just 2 screws. And this is actually dummy proof. It's supposed to go like this, but as you can see, if you accidentally were to screw it in this way, it wouldn't fit in. All right, here it is screwed on, and I guess this is technically all we can get done, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess here's the start to the TRD Air Intake and what it's gonna look like. So this upper box is going to go onto here, of course connect to the lower box, but we don't have that. Alright guys, thank you so much for checking out episode 2 of the Salvaged Tacoma rebuild series. Unfortunately, like today, sometimes when you're working on like these mini side projects, you'll realize you don't have a part, or you're missing something, or you need to do something else before you can finish that project. And that was the case that happened today. So we got half of the air intake installed, but the rest doesn't look like it's gonna be too difficult, and I'm excited to finish that up. Like I said before, another big thing we're gonna start working on in general are getting those airbags done. That's gonna be a pretty expensive project. But other things we're gonna be working on too is the rear passenger side bedside, because that's also damaged, and figuring out how to mount the front bumper. So stay tuned, there's still a lot of work to be done, and we're gonna have a lot of fun continuing to rebuild this Tacoma. If you guys wanna follow this build more in real time, you can follow me on my Instagram. I am at Chloe Kuo Taco. Otherwise, I hope I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye guys.